stripes and bright stars.
I'm sure by now that many of you have heard this little girl sing the national anthem at the NBA basketball game. And I have to admit, I'm a little late in responding to this, but I definitely wanted to do so. To be honest with you, I don't know who's more tone deaf, the little girl herself or her parents. My conclusion, however, is that her parents are more tone deaf than she is. The problem with the little girl is that she can learn to develop her talent as a singer. She definitely and obviously does not have the natural talent, but she can learn to be a great singer. She certainly has charisma and charm. She just needs to be developed. And that's common. So I don't mean to rag on a little girl. She's a little girl. She can learn to develop her talent. But what I don't understand is how her parents could be so tone deaf, knowing, I can't believe they have no clue how brutal the internet can be. They allowed her to go on national television, number one, and with the full knowledge that whatever this little girl does is going to be blazoned across the social media spectrum. This is something they should not have allowed. This little girl is going to have to deal with the damage of this video for who knows how long. It's, on some level, it's hard not to call this abusive. How did her parents, her family, anyone around her, how did anybody listen to her sing and conclude that she should be broadcast on national television singing the national anthem, which is one of the most difficult songs that anyone could sing? And I mean anyone. That song is hard to sing for people who are trained singers. And most of them can't get it right. So I don't understand what would make parents do this to a child. I'm sure they were telling her, you sound great, honey. You sound awesome. You can sing great. You can do anything you want, be anything you want to be. But this whole travesty, in my mind, is indicative of what's going on in America at large, which is the inability for people to be truthful and honest, even with their own children's talents and abilities. We need to start telling people the truth. And this is not just in this instance like this, but this is in everything. The news, it's in everything. We are training our kids and training everyone really to deal with dishonesty by lying to one another about everything. It is painfully obvious that this little girl had no business on the national stage singing that song like this. No one can tell me that, when you consider the fact that, for instance, with Colin Kaepernick taking a knee, because this was disrespectful to the nation and our national anthem. I think this is equally as disparaging to the national anthem by allowing this rendition of the national anthem to be sung this way. To have people laugh when, and to mock and to scorn when the national anthem is sung. Now, I got my own issues with the national anthem as a whole, knowing the roots of it and knowing where my place is and where our place is in the history of that song. But that's another subject. But the fact is that the national anthem is supposed to be held in high regard by everyone's standards. And to allow this to happen and to have it laughed at and mocked at the expense of this young little girl is, to me, a travesty. And I blame her parents for this. She can learn to become a better singer. And she's very young. So this has nothing to do with her. This has everything to do with how tone deaf her parents are and all those people that surrounding her that allowed this to happen. Just my 2 cents.